Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. And I did put my hand up for the 75%. I am also quite bold. Even though, it's baby steps at the minute, I think there's loads of opportunity. So you've all been sat down for a little while. So let's have a bit of audience participation. So could you all stand up for me for a second? Thank you very much. And let's start by saying hello to the people next to you. Introduce yourselves, because in true British style, what will happen is you'll all go to the break, and then you'll make a play back to your seat, and you'll not move all day. You'll be in the same seat all day. It's very, very British of us. So, a couple of questions. So stay standing if you have either knowledge management, content design, digital design, that kind of role in your role today. We've lost a few. Still quite a few of you standing. Okay. So my role is knowledge management. I also look after digital content as well. Stay standing if, like me, you are an introvert and you chose this kind of career because it allowed you to do amazing things whilst being quite quiet in the background. A couple of extroverts sitting down, but we still have a few standing. Final question. Has your career been ruined by Gen AI because you've suddenly become the most important person in your organisation? That's what's happened to me, and I'm sure it feels a little bit the same for others as well. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for that. Appreciate you taking part. So, a little bit about me. I do need to get a professional photograph. They did take some today, so I will be changing that photograph. But this is a photograph taken a week after the pubs opened, after lockdown. I'm sat in a pub garden, and I've cut off, you can actually see just a tiny bit of it, the pint of lager that I'm drinking, and I'm in my happy place. So this is me in my happy place. This is a nice little quote taken from LinkedIn to give myself a bit of credibility. But let me talk about who I really am. So I've been with BT for 26 years. I am part of the furniture, it feels like. I've had what is now referred to as a squiggly career. I think that's become a term now. I've worked in pretty much everywhere within BT over that period of time. I've been incredibly lucky to have some amazing jobs. I started on the graduate scheme, which was great fun. I was on £12,000 a year, and my rent in London was £12,000 a year. So you can imagine what that was like. It's been brilliant. I've had an amazing career. I worked in sales for around 10 years. Then I had 2 children, became soft, and moved into customer service, and I've never looked back. I've been in customer service ever since. I did a lot of process design before I took on this role, and then my boss, who is still my boss, so I need to be careful what I say, pitched this role to me to say, you've got an amazing opportunity. We know you love transformation. We know you love people management. We're going to bring them 2 things together with this role. And the job basically was bring together a number of different knowledge management platforms, some of them which were not really platforms, more like just a SharePoint or an Excel file, consolidate them, and also bring together 2 very different knowledge management teams that don't know each other and work in very different ways. So I'll just tell you a little story about that. So it was a very cold February day back in 2019. This is pre-COVID. Most of my team are based up in Newcastle. I'm in Chorley in Lancashire. So I set off very early, still dark in the morning, to drive up and meet my team for the first time. And for those of you who know call centres, they're huge, big, massive buildings. And we have a meeting room that's known as a goldfish bowl. You can imagine what it's like. You're on display to the whole call centre. So I drove up, dark, miserable day, to meet my team. Beautiful new suit, power suit I was wearing as well. Nobody had given me the memo to say that my team were actually casual. Not even smart casual, casual. So I rocked up there, and it was a little bit like the corporate version of Love Island, the first episode. I walked in the room, I've got one group of people over here, another group of people over here, and they're all eyeballing each other. So that was the introduction to my role. That was 6 years ago, and we're one big happy family now. You wouldn't know they were two separate teams. They came together, and we've had a really brilliant 6 years. And actually, interestingly, I've never stayed in a role longer than 2 years until this role came along, so there must be something to be said about that. Okay, so a little bit about us. Most people will probably know BT. If you've got teenage kids, you probably spend your time worrying about the Wi-Fi and how fast it is, that kind of thing. Wondering if you've got a connection when you go on your holidays, that kind of thing. That's who we are. We are rolling out full fibre. We talk about it a lot. We're at 18 million premises now for full fibre, and we've won UK's best mobile network for 23 years running. But one thing people don't always know about us is that we also run the 999 service. So we've been doing that for 88 years incredibly well, and the team that run that are absolutely fantastic. So that's a bit about BT. But I work specifically within the consumer area. We have around 25 million customers, 400 stores, and I support around 12,000 advisors with my knowledge management solution. Okay, so I'm going to just give you a bit of history because we've had a relationship with eGain for around 15 years now, which predates my role in this team. But there are some people in my team who've seen it from the beginning. And I'm going to just give you a bit of a history of how we've got to where we are today, which is an amazing achievement. We've come an awful long way. So just a bit of a reminder about what the key goals were. So we wanted to deliver. And it kind of speaks to what Ashley was talking about. It's all about this trusted content. So delivering the correct personalised experience to our contact centres and our stores. Supporting all of our customers and leveraging insight to continuously improve. And that's really important because to get people using your tool, they need to trust your tool. And the way that they trust your tool is they become part of it. So I don't own that content. My guides, my agents own that content. They're responsible for ensuring that they provide us with that insight so that we can keep it up to date and keep it really personalised. You'll see a little picture in the corner there. Our knowledge solution is called Albert. I don't think it's very adventurous because I believe it's the most common name for a knowledge management solution. But this little lady next to Albert is his first wife, Maliva. And the business version, the eGain business version in BT Business is known as Maliva, which is quite sweet. He did have a second wife called Elsa, so there's room for development as well. Okay, so let's talk about our deployment journey. This started before my time and continued when I joined the team as well. So we had around 30,000 articles, guide processes, flat articles, Excel sheets, PDFs, you name it, we had it. And our role was to try and bring all of that together with the help of eGain and bring that best practice together as well. So we have almost like a 50-50 split between processes and flat content articles. And within that process, that includes the process and the procedure as well. So when we talk about this happy path, we cover everything. We're the last port of call, so it's not just about the happy path, but actually we've got to cover every scenario, every unhappy path as well. We basically provide a solution that will cover every single scenario that could possibly come up. So you can imagine it gets quite large as well. We pass key customer information in as well. So the whole idea is we understand who the customer is, we understand their intent, the product, a little bit of background on them. Have they had a history with us? Have they spoke to us before? So all of that information is provided as part of the knowledge solution as well. And then most importantly, as I said before, advisor feedback loop is really key. We have a really engaged agent population. So we get around, I'll talk a little bit more about this, but we get around 700 pieces of feedback a week. It's pretty big. And they continue to engage with us. And we've recently done a survey. I'm going to share some of that with you as well. But that deployment journey was a relationship between ourselves and eGain to move all of that content over to help us with that initial move, getting it up and running. Because actually, once you switch it on, that's when you can really start to continuously improve it as well. So, some stats for you. It's interesting, I've not gone with cost reduction, but actually you can convert this really easily. So, most importantly, we got a real boost in NPS. So this was about really making sure, when I talk about being able to deal with every single customer in every single scenario, them going away feeling like we have resolved that issue for them. But not just done that, but delighted them as well. So when you're having that human conversation, you want to make sure that the agent can focus on that customer and not have to worry about the process and trying to figure out the best way forward. It's right in front of them. So that boost in NPS was huge. Secondly, FCR, we saw a 37% improvement in FCR. This is first contact resolution. This is making sure the customer doesn't need to call us back. And interestingly, you could flip that measure and that's your cost reduction, because that is basically customers who would have called back before. And most importantly, with our agents, sorry, I keep referring to them as guides because the guides in our world, agents probably in a lot of your world, but the speed to competency improved dramatically. And actually, it's really important, I think, to be able to hit the ground running and give them that boost of confidence from day one. And what new agents tell us is that they're able to get on the floor and start to make those calls really early because we have those baby steps. So we're able to provide that kind of profiling that allows an agent to take the baby steps they need at the beginning to boost that confidence. So what's next? So 6 years in, and I'm still really excited about what comes next. And I think Gen AI has obviously played a massive part in that, and that is where we are focusing moving forward. So we've built it. It's working. We've got everyone using it. We've got about an 80% conformance rate to our knowledge solution, which is huge. So 80% of the time, people are tapping into our knowledge to use it. And whether not, it's because it's really simple engagement. But what that's created is a huge knowledge base. So we've got about 5,000 articles and guided help flows. It's about a 50-50 split at the minute. And some of those guided help processes are pretty long. So imagine decision trees that go off into different branches. We've got them all. And because we're the last port of call, it's quite complex. And as I mentioned, we get about 700 pieces of feedback a week. So we know we've got engagement. We know people are using our tool and want to help us improve it. But when you've got multiple brands, and we've got, I didn't mention this before, but we've got actually what we class as 4 brands at the minute. So we've got our legacy BT brand in consumer, our legacy EE, PlusNet, which often people don't realise is part of BT, and then we've got new EE, which you will have seen the adverts for new EE broadband at the minute. So we've got quite a complex knowledge solution, lots of systems as well. We've been around a very long time, so we have lots of layered CRMs and lots of challenges there as well. But Gen AI opens up the opportunity for us to simplify that significantly, and that's the exciting bit. So to start that process off, we did a survey. We went out to around 10,000 guides, and 1,400 of them completed the survey. That's actually pretty good going when you compare it with the rates we usually get on surveys. So we know people are interested in helping us. And I'll share some of these with you, and I wish I put my glasses on. I'm going to read this bit so I can see it a little bit. So the top one says, how well does the current Albert system meet your needs for finding information and answering customer queries? We know that 48% have agreed with that, but we've got some neutral people as well. So we've also got some people who disagree, so there's room for improvement for those as well. When we talk to them, there's a real common theme, which I'll talk about in a minute. And on average, what percentage of calls do you use Albert for? So the vast majority of people have said that they use it over 75% of the time. We do have some smaller tenured agents who use it less time. They're more confident, so they don't feel they need it as much. On average, how long does it take you to find the right information? So the vast majority of people have said 3 to 5 minutes. I think we can improve this with Gen AI significantly. And what would make using Albert easier? And the vast majority of people there have told us 2 things. A better search functionality, which I think lends itself perfectly to what we can do with Gen AI. And then Albert is automatically populated with customer information. Again, that's a really big opportunity for us in the future. And just to finish off, this is the things that came up, and you will see flow was the most important answer. Now, what people are telling us there is it's really difficult to find the right process. every time. And that's because the knowledge base is pretty big now, and there's an opportunity for us to reduce the amount of processes we've got through Gen AI. So all of this survey just made us more excited about what the opportunity in the future looks like. So here's what's coming next. We are about to go live. It will be in the next 2 weeks with our first knowledge search using Gen AI. This will allow our agents to put a question in and get an answer from our knowledge base. It will also then provide them with a source of that data. So if they wanted to go into more detail, they can. It will also still give them the access to the guided help flows if they needed it. So we've got every base covered. But we know that the opportunity is in terms of being able to provide them with the answer up front. It will play a pivotal role. We know it will. We know it's going to significantly improve AHT. I'm going to show you some numbers in a minute, which I'm going to share with you. They are day one numbers. They are significant. They are probably the biggest opportunity for cost saving in our call center this year. And we have the opportunity to completely dial that up. And the benefit is potentially huge. AHT is what we're focused on, which is our call handling time. But we believe that if you can find results quicker, it will encourage more and more agents to use the solution more, give them the confidence to use the solution more, and therefore improve FCR as well. This is what it'll look like for day one. So we have our knowledge currently integrated into our portal that our agents use. I'm going to talk a little bit about what that's going to look like in the future, because we're looking to improve our user experience as well. Well, basically, they will be able to put an question at the top. They will get what is referred to as an instant answer, and then they will get the source of that information underneath that they'll be able to click through. So you can see that little box that says how to connect to a device. That's the source of that answer. And then they will still get the traditional search underneath for the time being. I think in the future, this bit can go. We're kind of taking baby steps at the minute to introduce this. Okay, and then separately, and this is really exciting for my team, and I've got a couple of my team in the audience today if you wanted to talk to them about this, but we're using Assist GPT as well to actually help with creating articles and authoring. And there's lots of different use cases for that in particular. Some of the most obvious ones, spelling, grammar, that kind of thing. But actually, we've started to write prompts now for tone of voice to make sure we're consistent in the tone of voice. We're using it to streamline our articles to then plug it into the Gen AI solution. So we're actually using Gen AI to power Gen AI. So it's a really interesting model where there's so much opportunity to improve. And those prompts are being built by my team as well. So we are starting to understand the roles we need in the team. It's starting to change over time, and we're understanding what those roles look like and the importance of those prompts in the future. So I said I'd share some numbers with you. I've deliberately took out the areas of ops model because I'm not sure I should be sharing those at this moment in time, but these are some of the volumes we have. So you can see this is a monthly volume. You can see we're over 1 million sessions a month. And for day one, we're aiming for 2.8 million benefit. So that's got the potential to grow significantly. That is switching on for day one, and then once that works and we have the confidence, we can roll that out to numerous other areas. And I think it's got the potential. I've put the number there, but I think for every minute we save, it's £10 million for our call centre. So there's still more to come, though. This is what we're working on today. We are also talking about what this looks like in the future, and I mentioned user experience, and I think there's a real opportunity to improve the user experience. So it was really interesting when we asked our guys what they wanted it to look like in the future, and what they want is knowledge at their fingertips. They couldn't quite articulate what they meant by that, but they wanted knowledge as a standalone solution. Then they also wanted knowledge integrated in all the other tools that they use. Then they wanted a widget. They basically want it available wherever they can get it. in the easiest way possible. So that's what we're aiming for, giving them options in how they use the knowledge. So this is one of the options. We're going to go back to what was a dual monitor solution. We've had this in the past. A lot of our guides like to have their knowledge on a separate screen, so they can access it all the time when they're talking to customers. Equally, they like to be able to access this when they're in every other tool. So we're giving them those options to be able to use it as they see fit. And this is where we hope to take it in the future, which is knowledge everywhere, or Albert everywhere, as we're calling it today. The whole idea being that it's there at your fingertips. For those of you who can remember, do you remember the paperclip we used to have, where you could access the paperclip for help? Kind of that kind of thing. When I say that to my team, they all look at me with blank looks on their faces. They've no idea what I'm talking about. But it's that sort of idea. Imagine a widget version of knowledge that you can access anywhere. It's within every tool, and it's there and available to use. And then there's more. So our longer-term vision aligns beautifully with Ash's presentation earlier. And actually, I could have pinched your slide. I think it's very, very similar. This is our long-term view, which is a knowledge platform that powers every area. And actually, if I'm honest, this wheel could have double the amount of things on here. So today, what we're focused on is customer service, providing a knowledge solution that powers all of our channels, whether that be our chatbot, known as Amy, search functionality within our IVR, within our digital help, within our guide world or our agent world, within our retail stores, and within our CRM. We could take it further, though. I mean, there's nothing stopping us from merging all of our internal knowledge as well that supports our employees, and then they can access that from one place as well. There's a huge opportunity and a benefit. And it's looking really bright. The future's really bright. I'm really excited to be in this world, and I am still an introvert. Despite standing on the stage today. So this is a big thing for me. But I think I'm in a part of the industry that's got so much opportunity in the future. So thank you for listening.